Now that we have our overlay running, it is a good idea to start configuring the layer 2 EVPN sessions. First, we will start by configuring the interfaces which are connecting the hosts to the switches. As you can see, on leaf 1 we have 2 hosts, on leaf 2 1 host, and on leaf 3 we'll have 3 hosts connected via a switch. Which means that this interface will be configured as a trunk interface or as a single tagged interface with different sub-interfaces. Leaf 2 interface will be configured with VLAN untagged, and the interfaces from leaf 1 will be also configured with VLAN untagged. So let's start by configuring the interfaces. So set interfaces Ethernet 1.3, admin state enable, subinterface 0, type bridge. Also need to enable VLAN tagging, and subinterface 0, VLAN, encapsulation, and tagged. The same configuration should be added also for Ethernet 1.4. So set interfaces Ethernet 1.4, admin state enable the VLAN tagging, and subinterface 0, VLAN, encapsulation, and tagged. And add type bridged. Let's commit, save, and stay. Now let's start by configuring the first network instance for VLAN 10. So set network instance v10, type MAC VRF. Since we are configuring layer 2 EVPN, we need MAC VRF instances. But before doing that, we'll also need to configure the VXLAN interfaces. So set tunnel interface VXLAN 0, VXLAN interface 10 for VLAN 10 or VNI 10. We'll go with type bridged. And we have an error, so I'll go with interface VXLAN 0 here, and type bridge and ingress VNI of 10. The same will be with VXLAN interface 30, VNI 30, and VXLAN interface also will be 30. Now we can go back to configure the network instance. We will admin enable it, and we will add interface 130, which will connect to the host in VLAN 10. We also will add the VXLAN interface in the VNI 10. And we can go ahead and configure the BGP protocols, BGP EVPN, add the instance BGP instance 1, VXLAN interface VXLAN 10, we'll add the EVI of 10, and because we have 2 leaves, we'll have the ICMP value of 2. Now we need to configure the BGP VPN option in order to configure the route targets. BGP instance 1, route target, export route target, and we'll configure the target to be the IS number and the EVA number, and import route target, we'll use also target 6500 and 10. Let's commit, save and stay. And I will copy this configuration here and I will transfer in our text editor, and I will just change the configuration so it will suit VLAN 30. Change the VXLAN interface, the physical interface, and the target, which we use, will be 30, and here also will be 30. So we can go ahead and copy this configuration right here. Commit, save and stay. So we do not have the VXLAN 30 interface, so let's configure it. Set tunnel interface VXLAN 0 VXLAN interface 30, type breached, and ingress VNI 30. Let's commit, save and stay. Error impaired network instance, name v30 protocols BGP instance, leaf destination VXLAN interface does not exist. So info, let's check what we have added here. And yes, this is what we have added, and this it needs to be 30, so I go ahead and delete this one and commit, save, stay. So info flat from running tunnel interface, and let's check the tunnel interfaces. They are configured correctly from the looks of it. And here we also have to change the EVI to 30 and commit, save and stay. Now the configuration has been committed, so good news. To ease my work, so now we'll have to configure the VLAN 20-1 customer, and we'll have to configure the VLAN 20-1 network instance. The interface that connects to VLAN 20-1 is Ethernet 1.3. I will copy the interface configuration from here, and I will just transfer it to leaf 2 and info, and I can go to my text file here, and maybe I can also add some VXLAN configuration in here, so I can copy all the configuration at once. So VNI 20, VXLAN interface 20, 20, 20, 20. Also here should be 20, and interface 1.3. Also here 20, and the last touch is here 20 and 20. So copy it and paste it on leaf 2. commit, save and stay. Okay, that's nice, but we still have leaf 3. So before configuring leaf 3, I want to show you how this device is configured. So do show run. You can see that we have a trunk interface configured towards leaf 3, and we have access interfaces configured towards the host. But from what I see here, we have one interface which is missing, so I will configure it really quickly. In VLAN access 30, here it should be, and I should modify 1, 2, should have VLAN access 20. Actually this one should have VLAN access 20, and 1, 2 should have VLAN access 10. I will save the configuration, check it again, and now it looks good. So as you can see, there is nothing fancy here, just a regular switch configuration. Let's go to leaf 3, and on leaf 3 we have interface Ethernet 1.3 configured to the Aruba switch. We can use our trick and we can copy sub interface, add it here, and we can encapsulation single tagged. Maybe let's just put the configuration here, single. Actually no, so set interfaces Ethernet 1.3 sub interface 10, type breached, and let me also enable VLAN tagging on the interface. So sub interface 10, VLAN encapsulation single tagged, and VLAN ID of 10. Info flat from running interface Ethernet 1.3. Maybe commit save stay first, so I can yank the configuration just like that. So another sub interface for VLAN 20. And another sub interface for VLAN 30. And commit, save and stay. Now let's add the configuration for the VLAN 30. Actually, we can make it also simple. We can copy directly from here, info flat from running network instance. We can list all the network instances that we have configured, and I can export VLAN 30 and VLAN 10 configuration all at the same time, and I will just put it here. So for VLAN 10 we are using interface 1310, for 20 we're using interface 20, and for 30 we're using subinterface 30. Also info flat from running tunnel interface. We can also yank the tunnel interface configuration from here. And we can go to L2 and yank the tunnel configuration from here. And just like that, we have all the configuration that can be used directly on L3. So let's do that. Let's commit, save, and stay. Show network instance v10 interfaces. Let's check the interface status. I see that the interface is up, so everything should be nice. One more thing, we forgot to configure the IP addresses on the host, so I will do that and I will just skip forward. And just like that, the configuration on the host has been added. So let's test if our topology works. So I can ping 192.168.10.2, which is VLAN 10-2, and I can ping it. Let's check if I can ping the other VLAN 30 host, 192.168.30.2, and I can also ping it, which is good. And let's check the VLAN 20, ping 192.168.20.2, and it is also pingable. So our operation was a big success. We can check the bridge table on each network instances and see what is happening there. We'll have the MAC address belonging to the host in VNI 10, which is this one. We can issue show IP, and as you can see, the VLAN will match. If we'll check each network instance, we will see that information will be matching and the information will be correct. Because if you have the ping running, then everything should be working perfectly. One last thing to check is show network instance default. protocols BGP, routes EVPN, route type, summary. We do not have any type 1 routes because we do not have any multi-homed connections. We have the type 2 routes, and as you can see, the ESI ID is 0, which means that this is a single homed connection. And we will have type 3 multicast routes, and there are no type 5 or type 4 routes. The reason why we don't have type 4 routes is the same that we do not have type 1 routes, because we do not have multi-homed connections. And the reason we do not have type 5 routes is because we do not have any layer 3 instance configured. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.